Welcome back, everybody, to Tabletop Diaries, where we are doing Off the Table, episode 6, where we will be reviewing and talking about other stuff too, but reviewing mostly, try to keep us on track, episodes 17, 18, 19, and 20. Shadow Dark, Volume 1, Diary.
We're still alive. That's for sure. We're here.
So, episode 17. You guys go back to Hope's Keep for the first time in a long time for Val and Vern. And it's like a whole new, place that you see it completely refurbished and whatnot. Val, what was that like?
It was amazing. It's been a while since we went back home. That was the first time since we left. It was kind of like surreal, and also to see it flourish and all pimped out and rigged properly. It felt good and also bittersweet. It's like the first time we go back without our original friends. Kind of hit a little bit to the heart.
Yeah, there were some sorrow points in that for sure.
It's like we're back home and we achieved some success, but our friends were not with us. So.
You get to see the fruits of your labor, everything you've fought for a better life in a sense. But some of those people that helped build that path and build the home that are not there to enjoy the fruits of their labor and see the glorious glory that you've
we actually also found comfort in the fact that their sacrifice wasn't to waste.
Exactly.
Something their lives paved the way for this,
right? But then also having to break that down to like, hey, those people are not coming back to the people there that
was a tough conversation.
Yeah,
that was I did not know how to handle this. I literally didn't know. It felt real, and I was like, how are you gonna break this down? And it was like, this is not gonna end well, or at least not in the smoothest way I would expect, but we got through it.
Yeah, telling someone their friend or family member died is never
there's no good way to
in
do it.
any circumstance.
And my new character can't know that there's troll toes there, but I want those troll toes back as a player. But I have another character, I can't get those back.
Oh,
the troll toes was not there, was it?
The maid Mary had them.
Yeah, those back in
Wardenwood. Oh yeah, that's right. Before we left.
And then we grabbed the sculpture and went up to...
Yeah.
Yeah, now I regret not taking those troll toes. That was a big mistake.
Right.
I mean, would it have really played into anything? Who would have known?
I don't know. I could have gotten a potion with it.
Maybe.
A healing potion is always a good thing to have.
You just don't want to open up that jar, that whiff.
Yeah, I was like, how am I going to carry this around while I'm trying to...
That answer, or that answer doesn't answer anything. That brings up the question, does troll toes increase in value like a fine cheese that's been sitting and aging?
It looks like it, yeah. It's like camembert.
It depends how it's stored. It's like wine. You got to store it right, and then it's okay.
Yeah, maybe like not like direct sunlight, or maybe just get subtle sunlight, or like
That takes me back when I was a kid. My father, he eats French cheeses, his camembert, and he puts it out for like days, and it stinks. I never understood, and it was like, the longer he leaves it there, the more delicious to him or something. And I was like,
but
when I was a kid, I remember that stench. It's still programmed in my head.
Kind of like that blue cheese smell.
Yeah, and I was like,
Parmesan
why?
Is,
I couldn't understand, why is he doing that? We have a fridge. And I was like, all right. Now I understand, I guess.
Wanted that extra flavor.
Yeah.
Leaving it out gives it, I guess.
So I guess the troll toes are in the same kind of category.
Would the regenerative property of trolls keep them fresh?
It's a good question.
But I guess we could move on. Can we move on?
The entire episode of 17
brought it up.
I'll
focus on troll toes.
About 17, it was cool. Like as a character, it was just kind of neat to see a new place, because it always is. That's Alzamar wants to see everything he can and learn what he can. But as a player, it was really cool to see Pope's Keep remodeled through the eyes of a different character and knowing that, like, yeah, my character died, but this he played a role in this. That was cool.
Right. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I mean, I didn't think about that in that perspective, especially as a player character. Because I knew I had to like change it up. You have a very powerful wizard and a very renowned leader, and they have resources.
Oh yeah.
So they're able to, you know, and the treaty's been done and made, and agreements have been made. So of course they're going to help establish. And it's different as opposed to like, you know, how we do now is like trades. Like, okay, I'll ship over some, you know, oil, and you give me spices and herbs or whatever the case is, right? You guys are all suffering. This is what the world should be like, really like. You all are suffering from a great calamity. So every real civilization, collective civilization, is trying to latch on to survival.
Right.
So the more trade that they can open is beneficial. Which makes me think like way back in the day, like, you know, traveling and like opening trade with people. That must have been like, if it was done right in a peaceful manner, that was probably quite the time.
Yeah,
that
that was the way to boost your economy and also your knowledge.
You learn about new spices, herbs,
And,
plants, and all
you
that.
encounter people who had other skills and things.
Yeah.
You know, traffic.
Things you would have never
human traffic.
Right. Things you would have never even thought of.
Mhm.
That would have
Technology
been a thing.
that comes to you and that you send back.
Exactly.
From yourself.
So that's essentially what you guys did, is expanded.
Until the Buckthorn shows up.
That was a
Indeed.
good fight.
That was
The
awesome.
Bogthorn fight was pretty fun.
Yeah, that episode is very lore heavy, and then boom, battle.
Yeah,
Quite at the end.
Big
Out of nowhere.
Big battle, yes.
Realm Eater. I think that was the first episode where the Realm Eater was discussed in Wardenwood, and then we see this wonderful place, and then it gets attacked. Like,
Yeah.
It gets to show you no one is
ups and
safe.
downs.
Yeah, it was kind of a subtle reminder that everything can look up, but you're still in
Everything
the
is
gloaming.
fragile.
Everything is one hair fracture line away from total destruction. And it's, to me, especially as a story molder, I guess. I don't know what to call this.
As a TM.
As a TM. Jesus.
Copyrighted.
Yeah, right. As a TM, me sculpting this, it was a good, reminder to you guys. Like, you guys are there's still a threat out there, a big, major threat. It's good to get that breath of fresh air, but you still have to wake up and deal with reality. You're still gonna have to go out there, find this realm eater, as you guys learned, and push forward to end this threat. If you want true, unity in the world, species, humanity, and elves,
peace.
and all, and peace, just true peace, you're going to have to put in work. It kind of puts the urgency of like, I can't just sit back and do nothing. You finally get a glimpse and a taste of what the world can be, but you have to put in the work and try to sprinkle like some of that into that, and drive home that, yeah, this is beautiful, this is what we're aspiring to, but it's still dangerous, and this is why we fight.
That's why we are doing it, sacrificing ourselves every time we get out of there.
Yeah.
The nightmare.
Or defend the wall.
Yes, the wall.
Yeah. For the watch.
For the watch. Yeah. Anything else for episode 17?
Yeah, those are the main highlights.
Mr. Jordan. We got to catch up with him.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
We gave him money to buy an axe. Cluck gave him money to buy an
Oh,
axe.
God.
Yeah, talk about influencing a child.
As a player, I'm not a good influence on this.
Clearly.
Like,
Setting things on fire, chopping down things. Like,
Yeah,
build
I mean,
boats to
come
build boats.
okay, Bill Boats, yeah. Bill Boats Baggins.
Yeah.
And then, we had as a player, I'm really suspicious of this, but it's probably nothing. We keep being offered bitter mold heirlooms or being near bitter mold heirlooms, and I do not trust it one bit.
Yeah.
We drank from that wine, and I'm still cringing about it. It's just like episodes later.
Just a curse pops up on all of
Right?
us.
Oh, the fancy lantern that Durek had.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just creeps me out.
That makes a lot of sense. You found out that what beer molds are.
Right. What
that-
happened to him?
Yeah, what happened to them, and then you find the one surviving member who somehow is unaffected. Quotation marks in the air.
Mhm.
Sure. I mean, yeah, no, that's good
Plenty of
reason
lore
to be.
not to trust him, or to be uneasy at least.
That is true. That is true. Moving along, you guys fought these bogthorns in this, Jurassic bogthorn. I want to say with these, there was casualties, but NPCs are NPCs.
Yeah.
They fall, and you guys make it back to Wardenwood to, spread the news, which I believe brings us to episode 18.
Indeed. We
What happened there?
well, we got back, told everything about
Oh yeah.
the Bogthorn attack to Alora and what's his face?
Bauer.
Bauer, yeah.
And Bauer has his speech
Yeah.
about dire times.
We re-meet with Hera and Mort, and we meet Melindra. Yeah, Melindra, all them, and Alora to Marin's Hold in episode 18.
Yeah, they got to finally get out and go see it for themselves.
We rejected the talking sword again.
Yeah.
Correctly,
Oh my
I
God.
believe correctly.
We got our
Yeah.
horses. We finally got
Yeah.
horses as well.
Yeah,
Finally.
That was that
Yeah.
episode.
You finally got horses, and
The wind. The wind was finally explained. The
Oh,
Lord of
yeah.
Time,
Yes, yes.
Gethros, and those. He wanted the six-eyed wolf, and the six-eyed wolf kept on coming up again and again. But we finally got a reason to try to find him if we wanted. We brought the six-eyed wolf to him. We got a boon from him, but we were suspicious.
Yeah.
you guys are suspicious about that ring too. Even the direction of going there, because clearly you did everything in your power to not go north,
Right.
largely because of Valroth, aka Dean.
I was trying to save us time from, running around. When you have an objective, you have to be
Very-
responsible.
One-tracked minded, which is not a bad thing. I can't hate it. You're playing your character, and that makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying like, hey, you should have. I'm not telling you, hey, you should have done this, you should have done that.
And I mean, logically to speaking, it's like, in real life.
Yeah.
If you're running this task and there's seriousness and time sensitive,
Especially guiding
yeah.
people.
you have to go from one place to place. You have to deliver something. You can't just on the whim. Oh, I'm going to go check out that hole over there or something.
Right.
I got people waiting on me,
And people with you that you're
Yeah,
taking
so-
somewhere. Yeah. It makes
I mean,
sense.
as much as I would like to explore in different circumstances, sure, I'll be like, why not?
Finish a quest before you start
Yeah.
a new one.
It's a double-edged sword, honestly, because I heard tale of people like going out and exploring and trying to make it to a no destination, but then discovering something that like booned them and benefited. Then of course there's a plethora of tragedies where they never make it
Yeah.
because they made a pit stop, if you will.
Get captured
Well,
by
there
cultists.
is a
Yeah.
risk. You can get big payoffs, but also it's a gamble. Should I risk all these efforts and all these people they invested into completing the mission, or should I gamble and maybe I get something extraordinary? Maybe not.
Should you have the scroll of charm person or the scroll of charm crocodile?
Yeah.
If only.
Yeah, we fought some crocs that time.
But just before that, Johnson Samth, we caught up with them
Oh yeah.
on their way back to on their way to Wardenwood for the first time, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I kind of want to touch on that because I know people will be like, oh, they left way, way early. But they did get lost because they were fugitives in their eyes and they had no idea what befell you guys. Because the same deal that happened to you clearly not happened to them. They were just like, we got to escape this. Also,
Yeah.
Tobin, before that, was telling them like, hey, you probably want to get out of here. Here's a place way over here.
Get out of Dodge.
Right.
So get out of Dodge. So that's what they did that night. But traveling in dark, they took that risk. And the fact that they survived is astounding.
Halfling luck.
They were hiding a lot behind trees.
And the
Um,
racial trait to turn invisible once a day is probably what saved them at least once.
Yeah. Yeah, quite possibly. They magnificently survived, but clearly got lost. And honestly, with a series of rolls, and the dumb luck of hitting because I did kind of have a book that you guys would stumble upon them, and it's just melted like beautifully. How you guys handled that ish. Granted, Valros being paranoid against cloaks of all things.
Well, but
I have to stay in character. Once I establish that, that's it.
it's a goal.
You know,
It's a motivation.
I mean, I established it's like I have to keep acting it. So it's like now I'm super paranoid. You see two cloaked figures from the distance. I mean, realistically
There's all
speaking,
cloaks now.
I suffered some serious drama and know how evil these people are. So it's like, your ears perk up way up. There's no going back.
A measure of Val killing cultists is a measure of how much Val cared about Tobin and Mrs. Redkin.
And that's right.
Very fair.
That is true. I mean, they've been with him since day one, since Hope's Keep.
Yep.
My behavior against cultists is 100% staying in character. It's
I mean,
like,
yeah,
I have to
they're-
maintain that.
Yeah.
They're your friends. That makes a lot of sense.
We got to know more lore about the meet back at 7. That was when we
Right.
got more explanation of that
Yeah.
note.
Oh God.
Yeah. it took
Finally
that.
Like-
revealing that nonsense.
Well, it's interesting that Val was betrayed on a ship, or like somebody was talking about betraying him.
No, it wasn't really
It was
betrayal.
betrayal. They were like,
it
"Moot,"
wasn't.
you know.
No, it had nothing really to do with betrayal. It was more just like it was to be in all honesty, it was just
Love letter.
a love
Someone
letter. Someone got
requesting their loved one to meet them behind a ship.
it was a stowaway. It was a stowaway
Yeah.
writing a letter like, hey, meet me over there and like let's talk about that. Unbeknownst to the captain. Now, yeah, they should have came clean to him, sure. But I mean, stuff like that happened
It's
back
usually
in the,
it's normal.
Stowaways slow down a ship. Okay, the ship can't go as fast, and they consume food,
yeah, no, this is
And-
all facts. Yeah.
and they're not doing their fair share of the work.
Yeah, because you can't
It's very-
openly work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that would piss off a stowaway compared to everyone else on the ship.
Yeah.
But Alora had the magic shelter, the wonderful
Oh
place where we
yeah.
could just chill.
Mage
The Wizard
Mansion,
Tower.
Mage
Wizard
Mansion,
Tower.
yeah,
Or Wizard
That was the
Mansion.
only
Yeah.
time we got to camp pimp style.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Like-
Luxury hotel style.
Yeah, there's a huge secret with Alora in that artifact, the orb, obviously, that you may never know until we end this campaign, for all I know.
All I need to know is, can Tobin learn how to do those camp stuff?
Tobin's
But-
dead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not Tobin.
He can't learn
Alzamar.
anything.
Sorry, I was looking at you and thinking Tobin.
I think
Alzamar.
eventually that's is it a wizard spell?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, the Mage
Mage
Mansion thing?
Mansion?
I honestly don't know. I kind of just made it up. I did obviously steal
I mean,
that from
it's
a
a-
very,
Yeah.
very
I don't know if he can
popular.
TTRPG.
If he can
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
that, it will change all how
Oh,
we
yeah.
travel, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely kind of ripped that from her. But more importantly, she has, and it's been kind of sprinkled. I don't know if you caught on to it yet, because you have no idea what she knows. Like as a wizard, and wizardry, playing a wizard character, that you can learn spells that are there that are beyond your, capability, but you can learn them while you're leveling up. There's something obviously to that, and the artifact enhances that a lot, obviously. And it also does like 3 really, really cool things that I kind of rolled and just kind of said, F it, I'm gonna just do this because like, why not? And then
More reasons.
for lore reasons a lot. But dude, especially in the Shadow Dark universe, that artifact that I created inadvertently it's just so powerful. It is so powerful. It might be a little OP, a little bit, just a little bit. But actually, finally reading some Mugnablub stuff. I should say finally, kind of going back and reading some stuff. I realized something, and it might be a fair fight. And
Wow.
just putting that out there.
That's scary to hear.
Mm-hmm. But I also don't know who you're actually bringing there and how any of that's going to be played. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we're gathering an army.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to, anyway.
Yeah, which is a thing in itself. That's going to be real interesting.
Yep. At the end of 18, we make it back to Marin's Hold and carouse, and I think that's when you leveled up.
Yeah.
Val's getting stronger.
Yeah.
Need it with that weak
Dude.
con.
Yeah.
I can't believe your
was
con
a-
is so low, bro. That is
Gotta have
wild.
some weakness.
Yeah.
Well, now I know.
Ah.
Inadvertently too. I wasn't like trying. I rolled for those those encounters. And yeah. So before we continue with that thought, 18. Is that how that ended?
Yeah, we made it
Leveling
back
up.
to Marin's Hold, and Alora and Tarly went to chat upon meeting, and then we went to the tavern to drink.
That's right. Which brings it into 19. You guys are basically day drinking at that point. I remember that vividly. And that's when you brought back to, Charlie Winters and Laura to essentially like kind of after they had their talks, hash out some more details of what you guys should do, which is where you guys plan to head towards the orcs. But you decide to take Alora to go visit the wizard's tower.
Yep.
And you learn a plethora of new stuff.
And when she got to see it, and then we got to see her face expression once she sees this tower.
Yeah, because any
She was
mage,
in awe.
any mage with that tower would be in awe. As Haldren, he was top dog as wizardry goes.
That guy,
in these
Beyond.
parts, anyway.
that guy must
Yeah,
have
in
been
these
like
parts,
1,000
yeah.
years old.
Yeah. We found ancient notes
Yeah.
before that would suggest he's 1,000 or
He's
older.
pre-calamity, if you will.
That's
Yeah, way before the gloaming was even considered the gloaming. The gloaming might have had a different name. Then,
Before, yeah.
yeah. And he's been around for what feels like eons, centuries upon centuries.
Yeah, he's got permanent enchantments, a tower that's bigger on the inside. He's got a construct. Yeah.
Clearly known, powerful people back then.
And in this episode, we discovered that he was likely, based on all the evidence we gathered, summoning a devil or a demon to converse
Mhm.
with and learn
Yes.
What?
more magics
What
from.
curious wizard doesn't have a devil in the basement?
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Skeletons in the closet,
Yeah,
or
but that-
skrulls in the closet,
But that's when he
devils
takes
in
it,
the basement.
when he takes it too far, and then it turns into a nightmare.
And you got to see how he died. Hell,
Yeah.
you killed him technically.
But that,
Yeah.
I tried to help him.
You did,
What-
and ripped his head off.
that's one of the spookiest things. But we got to know more about Alora
Hmm.
in this, who is normally very tight-lipped for like 15, episodes or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 13 or something like that.
You know,
But we ask her questions and she just doesn't answer, and it's a truth zone. It's her truth zone.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
but she.
Well, she has her reasons, and it's legit.
And because she let slip that she's like at least a couple hundred years old,
At least, yeah.
at least.
But we try to like defang the basement situation by taking some notes out of there. And we know that Laura is aware of Naru, the benevolent dragon,
Yes.
and got the orb from him, which is sweet.
Mhm.
And we know that the red head is connected to that devil somehow. We don't know exactly what's going on, but there's the idea of permanent spells with that herb. And I got Cluck got to pray with Alora. Yeah, that was
Yeah, you
That
found.
was hilarious.
Yeah, you finally found out that I wrote it's on her character sheet when I rolled for this, and I did give her a god. She worships Ord, who's like essentially the god of magic and secrets and all that stuff. It just seemed fitting for her. And I get wizards are kind of like scientists. They don't kind of dabble with like gods per se,
Hmm.
unless I was kind of taking a chapter out of BG3, Baldur's Gate 3,
Yeah.
with the wizard Gale
Yeah.
and Mistra type situation, well, not the whole relationship, but the spiritual relationship, if you will.
Hmm.
She's drawn to magic and the mystery of the realms, but specifically the weave of magic that flows through the lands. So she harnessed that, started worshiping Ord, and finally Cluck got to see that side of her, and she actually let that out. Especially after seeing all you guys have done, it makes sense for her to be like, you know what?
I could trust him a little bit.
Yeah, she could kind of breach out of her shell, but she's been, closed in for centuries. And she's been essentially a servant, not like, servant, like slave wise, but just, helping Bauer
like a right-hand man kind of.
Yeah, and just kind of biding her time, maybe for some more greatness. But now she's seeing the severity of the situation, and now she's trying to act. But she's lawful good, so she's not acting to take over.
Right.
She's acting for the betterment of the realms.
She's a good wizard.
Yeah, and for the better acknowledgement of her people in general, and just for the love of knowledge and learning.
Just a prudent one.
Yeah. And you learn all that, as well as more secrets from Haldren's Tower with the him trying to summon clearly he did summon a demon or devil or something and made some sort of pact, as far as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that you have a red shrunken head that might be able to control that, or whatever it is. I think mechanically speaking, I did. Mechanically speaking, having that head and summoning that creature, that thing owes you a favor, whoever's holding that. That's what you do know for fact.
Indeed. After showing her around and learning more about the tower, we head out the next morning from Marin's Hold to go to speak with the orcs. We traveled down south and around the river.
Without Alora, but with Vorvix.
Her apprentice, Mort and Hera.
Melindra, Vorvix, Mort, and Hera, yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the first time you guys encountered Will-O-Wisp that let slip several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when we found another dangerous creature for Val to fight, because they attacked your con.
The fact that your con is a 4, because you said 4 and I was like, oh, you have a +4 or a -4 or whatever. I was like, no, my con is 4. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You can literally die on one roll. Those things do 1d4 of damage. If I rolled a 4, you would have died. You would have just died.
Val takes risks.
He's strong, but
I don't know how to bring that up though.
Boons.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I wish I rolled
start
a 12
worshiping
on-
all the gods, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Give me some kind.
And hope you roll on that table well. Because honestly, the ZDs and boons, I think at least one, if not all of them, usually have. I could check, and we'll talk about that later. If you want to go that route,
At this point, it happened twice, so I think it's worth doing that.
You're making good use of that sword, though, because you were able to persuade your horse in that situation to kind of help us from jumping off the bridge.
Yeah, that was in 19. After you guys actually make it to the end of 18, you guys make it to the you make it to the Orcs village, and then you head towards.
We were in 19.
Yeah, because you guys make it to the Orcs, but wait, did we ever say that?
No, we're 19. We're going to 20.
Oh.
Yeah, 19 was the Wizard Tower. And then
sorry.
At the end, we got to the Orcs.
Yeah.
So that was on the way to the Orcs.
Right. With the Will-O-Wisp. But you guys do make your way to the Orcs. You talk to Haruk, where you find out that a traitor amongst them stole their sacred spear and just headed east. Is all the information you've gotten from them.
Yeah, that was meeting the orcs.
That was a tense situation.
It was very intense. Because they were like this brute, weird people. They're just like, we eat stuff.
Don't know if you can reason with them at all.
Yeah, I didn't get a vibes like, can we talk to them? Like, do you understand me? It's like, you're talking reasonably, and they're replying in this bizarre manner, and you don't understand. It's like, should we just wrap it up and leave?
Right. I felt for a good few minutes that we were gonna have to fight our way out of that room and the whole encampment, but
So there's like 80 of them or something.
Yeah,
at least,
that would have turned.
It's a village. So when I think of these villages, there's a vibe with a lot of them. Yes, of course, and especially with the orcs right here. They're very tribal, right? But you're talking about like 80 people. There's going to be like some who are, down to earth and don't care about what the majority are doing in any civilization. But of course, you got to present yourself a certain way. They recognize that because they've obviously dealt probably not a lot with other civilizations, but they clearly probably did that with other orcs or other orc civilizations or even some others. Now, of course, they could be those types that, kill and conquer and who's to say they haven't? But they seem to be at peace there for the longest time and haven't really ventured out because, like, if you got all your provisions there, why move out? And your guys are still in the gloaming where it's like, dark time. So numbers mean something.
Right.
Yeah, they're still kind of barbaric, but if they were like really benevolent, they would have just attacked anything that would have showed up.
At least they talked.
Yeah. So there's still, there's still civilization there. That's what kind of I was thinking. I kind of also like taking the vibe of, barbarians, low intelligence, but someone in there has to have some sort of intelligence if you're going to lead. Right. Obviously. I also kind of take it like if you go into a gym and you just see the whole room of just like buff gym bros, whatever. I mean, sure, you could talk to a majority of them and the conversation probably going to be close to the same, but you're going to find personality somewhere in there somewhere.
Right.
So like not all of them are just going to be like, protein. Yeah, just kill it with all the reps, do this rates, boom, boom. So, there has to be something else there.
Right.
And that's just with, again, with any civilization ever. But because specifically orcs, I don't know why I default to this, probably because, just my trope of what I'm used to thinking with orcs. They're like
traditional.
Yeah, traditional orcs, they're, barbaric.
Yeah.
Even with the description that Kelsey put, they live on stilt, raised, platform houses, from the marsh, so they're just kind of, to me, it kind of reminds me in a sense of like, trailer house kind of just, I don't want to say trashy, but just not the greatest looking stuff, if you will.
Yeah, back then that would be the trailer park equivalent.
Yeah, sure. It's just, raised platforms and they're living in a bog, of course, it's like, what can you do there? You're not like laying bricks down because then foundation
building a swamp.
Yeah, you're building in a swamp. It's already like terrible, and also kind of call back to earlier episodes where you saw some building a nest and home when you're leaving Hope's Keep.
I was gonna ask if that was like
related.
Are these the similar orcs? Yeah,
quite possibly. I mean,
I was worried for a second that was the guy with the spear, and we'd have to go all that way back.
See, me, that wouldn't make sense because that's way up northeast. Like, I mean, there's orcs all over this world. There's fish people in this world. There's halflings, elves, and humans all over the gloaming in this, sphere planet. So, they're going to meet other people.
Right.
But your guys are in a pivotal time right now where a lot of travel has been, especially now, kind of not extremely halted, but extremely tightened. Yeah, diminished. That's a good word. Diminished, because now it's like heightened right now, where anytime anybody goes anywhere, it's more consistent of bad things happening, which is kind of the push to the ending of like, okay, you guys finally realize that there is literally a virus on this planet, and it seems to be held up in Beardamole. You guys basically had a pinpoint like ground zero.
Yeah.
And that's why you're kind of making your way over there.
I liked that they had their own like history. They had the wall with Octavial and stuff. I wasn't expecting them to still have their own stories.
They had some lore.
And a curtain that drew back to show the taxidermied skull.
Yeah, the trophy of the leader at the time. Yeah, and they're proud people.
The way that he kind of vouched for us, like, don't attack them unless they attack you.
Right.
It was just like the most clearest way that the best endorsement you can get.
Yeah, because you can kind of tell like they have laws and morals, but they're also like
simple,
they're simple, basic. It's like if you're gonna hit me, I'm gonna hit you back, type of stuff. Golden rule is pretty universal.
Right.
No matter what species you are.
And multiversal.
Yeah, and they tasked us with a chore to go get them something.
Because you did just kind of show up on their front door and be like, hey, can you help us with this? And I'm like, why? But you actually proved like, it's kind of like somebody walking up the door is like, well, I got this plumbing that needs fixed. I need a roof. Like, I got a lot of problems, man. But it's like, okay, I'll fix all those problems. But then will you hear me out? Because there's this huge, bigger problem type stuff. So it's kind of that situation.
Right.
And you guys kind of killed it.
Yeah, we still felt uneasy enough at the end of 19 that we didn't want to stay there and rest. And we took off and did a little more travel, and that's when we had a wolf jump out of the mud to attack us.
Not just a wolf, A werewolf.
A
Yeah,
big
that-
werewolf.
Yeah, that was like a brick wall. Boom.
Killed him in one round. Disintegrated him.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that wand.
Me too. I'm gonna, if I can keep luck tokens up, I'm gonna hit Muggle Blow with it.
I'm trying. I failed blast. Like I'm like 50-50 with
You're
blast
doing
right
great.
now.
You're
Good
doing
grief.
great. I love every time I get a token though.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are gonna need them. For real. At the end of 19, you guys leave because you're feeling uneasy. Camp out in the wilds after doing like another hour of travel, and make it basically to the cusp of where you think this Boron character, the traitor, the runt who stole the spear, is hiding.
Yep.
You make it to this cave, and that's where
That's 20.
yes, yeah, we're in episode 20 where you guys travel in. You're like, hey, let's tie our horses up, travel in, and kind of explore this cave. Where, I mean, essentially, you did find him. You technically did find Boron.
Pieces
Yeah.
of him anyway.
Episode 20.
Episode 20. That beginning of that cave was too easy to be true.
Yep.
Walked in, look around, traces, footprints, walls, bones. We found the spears just sitting there.
right out in the
And
open.
look at it, Alzamar's like, cool, let's grab it and dash. Yeah, that was
Too good.
too good to be true, yo.
Wolves behind us.
And then the wolves came out.
And I will say, as a DM, they knew you were there
Yeah.
the entire time.
Probably saw us coming. Heard the horses.
They have heightened senses.
They are wolves.
Technically, it means that Alora indirectly sent her most trusted pupil to the wolves on her first mission.
Yeah.
She didn't know that you guys were going to do that. She was like, this should be a simple diplomacy. This should be a simple diplomacy act. Because you guys proven yourself you guys have a good track record.
True.
You left Hope's Keep, you met them. You left Wardenwood, you met the fish people. You did
Yeah.
good. So I mean that's 3-0, right there. Or 2-0 at least. So let's see what you guys can do. Like, and she was with you with like kind of technically two of them going back to Hope's Keep and then going to Marin's Hold.
True. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, these guys are well off. This apprentice of mine needs some real world, experience that I can't put my time to. So here, how did I learn? I went out on my own with some adventurers. Here's some adventurers that seem to be going on the right path.
And then we do the most dangerous diplomatic.
Yeah,
mission.
you
Yeah.
guys chose, because when I was prepping this and you guys said we're going to this cave, I was like, okay. And I looked at it, I was like, oh. Started to remember actually looking through the Zoom. By the way, the 12 wolves that popped, that's in the thing. I didn't write that. I didn't just roll
It's
for that.
supposed to be 12 wolves.
It is supposed to be 12. I looked up the stats for 12. I looked at the stats for that one wolf.
Who makes 13 on Friday the 13th is when we played
Yes.
that.
Oh,
But
my
that-
God.
Wow.
Essentially, that I'm not gonna put that stats out there. But that big wolf can wreck shop.
He
And
looked
isn't
like
that
he
funny?
could.
He was the six-eyed wolves, and we were at the place where we needed
want
to
his
bring
body,
the
yeah.
six-eyed wolf.
Yeah.
When if you bring his body, you get boons. But we didn't. When now we met him, we got boons from him.
Because hilariously enough, Val was the one made to deliver horses to the wolves who ate them.
The talking sword, the sword that can talk to animals, again, strongly affects the outcome.
It's
Oh,
like the
yes.
what
least
happens.
thing to expect.
Yeah,
the
we-
simple function in that
we
sword
said-
saved.
We've said this before, but it's like I can't. It dramatically affects what would normally
Can
happen.
you imagine if you guys said, "No, we're not going to that castle," and then had to deal with all this in
Or
the
if I
wild?
rolled, if I rolled high on that D20 and decided to shoot the wolf,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was, dude, yeah, that's what I was like. Oh, this can go south real
Yeah.
quick. And
I-
when you said that, I was like, oh, thank God. They might actually have a diplomatic moment and walk out if you're alive.
that-
Or I would have rolled for 12 wolves and then the big bad wolf against all of you. And
we probably would have TPK'd.
Yeah.
I
Probably would have.
It
yeah, honestly, honestly looking. I mean, I could have rolled very, very poorly, but I mean, I just do not think those odds would have been
That scenario.
Every NPC dies.
The chosen
Yeah,
avatar of the wolf god. Like, no,
that scenario was totally a TPK.
Also, I'm glad I went back and looked at this, because when I first kind of read through this, I thought you were gonna meet the wolf god. This, like, honestly thought in the book that wolf was the wolf god. It was just a six-eyed wolf, but no,
It was the pet.
it doesn't say pet.
Yeah.
It says is favored by Alzamot, the prince, whatever they call him here.
Almazat.
Almazat. Yeah, but no, but what he is, because I looked at the description of what's in the cave there. You get the 12 wolves and this six-eyed wolf. If you look at Almazat, it said a six-eyed wolf head shape with 6 horns. I thought they were the same thing. They are not. So I'm glad I went back and reread that, because they're 2 different things. I was like, oh, that's his pet. And then
His champion.
yes, and then it totally changed the situation, because like Kethros is like, but the slain wolf, I was like, wow, he wants his son dead. The entire time, my head, because I never gave you guys that information because you didn't know, which I'm glad I didn't, because that would have really screwed some stuff up. It wasn't his son, it's his son's pet, so he's trying to just give him a lesson.
Yeah.
But his son is
Wants
like
him dead.
kills him. It's like kill him, because he wants my wolf dead.
Right.
It's almost like a Loki Odin thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's twisted. But I'm glad I reread that. I was like, oh, so you don't get to see Almazat, but if you treat his wolf right, he will boon you.
Which I'm glad it worked out that way. Not only that we kept our lives because you gave him the horses, but at our after our orc party that night, we got to meet a god.
We got
in our
booned.
dreams.
You got to actually meet Almazat in your sleep.
That was cool.
And he booned you for, again, because it is literally in for this encounter. You can try to fight this, and you could go that route all day. But if you actually feed it, offer it meat, a sufficient amount of meat, which I feel like 2 horses, a bunch of wolves would suffice. So good job on you, Dean.
Yeah, I literally chanced it. I did not.
It says Almazat will boon you, not the 6-eyed wolf, which for the longest time I thought were the same thing.
Yeah.
No, Almazat boons you. So I was like, all right, how am I gonna do this? And you guys left.
I think the idea of the horses came to me is from when we hit the
But
the
when
orcs.
Clark is talking about eating
Yeah,
horse,
they-
the entire, the entire
episodes.
episodes.
Leading up
he was
to
talking about eating the horses, so he got that planted in my head. So with the orcs and all that stuff. So when we reached that situation, the first thing is like a lightning bulb. Like, wait a minute, we have
I
horses.
love that so much.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
it's hilarious.
horses. It was a collective effort. It wasn't like my original idea, and I was like,
It's just
he
hilarious.
kept saying it,
That Val,
and then in that moment, and I was like, we have meat.
but
with
Val
us.
was so against the idea of
Yeah,
eating the
it's like,
horses.
no,
and
we
giving them up.
need these horses.
And
We
then
move. I don't want to kill
The
these
fact
horses.
It was you that had to.
Yeah, and then
That's
it was
so great.
and then he's the only one who could talk to it, and then
Yeah.
it's like, no, let's get these horses. I'm glad you
But
did,
it was
because
a great plan.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Henry.
Great, yeah.
Slabaz
Henry
Henry.
Slabaz is no more.
Yeah.
oh, those poor horses. You're like holding that, and you're just like, "Why is it getting dark? Why are you leaving? Why are all these wolves going on? What's happening here?"
That's horrible.
Oh, the screams and the horror, and the horses just being
And then
completely.
me, like,
Oh, that's
putting the
horrible.
sword away because I don't want to hear it anymore. It's like
Yeah.
turning the radio off.
Yeah. Oh God, that is. You have to live with that.
Val's got some PTSD.
Oh God, yeah.
Every good video game that I've played, or every game that I enjoyed, there's a certain point in the game where you get to move faster.
Yeah,
You know, there's like this weird speed boost. Like Pokemon, you got the bicycle.
right.
So you got like
Yeah.
KOTOR, you got the burst of speed to like get to the next thing.
Yeah.
And like here, it's just like
Horses.
we got horses to just quickly get everything
nice.
done a little
You're
bit
in.
faster.
So nice.
Yeah.
You got horses, you're out of the mud.
And we
good.
partied with orcs because we gave them back their
Oh, yeah.
holy spear.
Their ancient relic that had you actually used that, I was very curious, because every time if you decided to keep it, every time you see gems, there's like, oh, you see, you would have an uncontrollable urge to eat it, which means you would have to do a bunch of checks, and you two would have to check with him against it. I would assume you guys would try to fight him to do it, and he would just have to like go overcome so many to just not eat what is there. And then I was gonna do a thing with like, okay, you won't eat them and these are safe, but then any new ones, you'd have to do it every time. You'd have to do it every time. And if nobody stops you, guess what? You're swallowing gems.
Hopefully they're smooth.
And then you're going to do con checks to see if it doesn't like internally damage you.
Yeah, you'll see them again eventually.
Yeah.
It'll hurt.
It'll definitely hurt.
There's a man who was trying to lose weight, and like somehow he welded a metal cage around his head.
Whoa.
And I just think about like trying to
Jesus.
control the urge to eat gems. And I'm just like, there are orcs in history who are using this spear. And it's like, how many of them wore a kind of muscle thing to like just try to keep it from.
Which means if
Yeah.
you fight an orc who's wielding that spear and you successfully kill him, you need to check his body for gems.
Cut open his belly.
Yeah.
Because the payoff could
But
be
I mean-
big.
Could be.
If you knew about that curse, which who knows if any of them did, just be like, don't have gems around me, give me gold and we can make, trade with that. Or if you conquer land, there's a bunch of gems, just don't be anywhere a part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with curses is the wielder usually never knows about it. Only
Or
give that
doesn't
information. Yeah, or doesn't care. I mean, I feel like I
or
would care
there's
if
just
I'm
like-
Yeah.
shoveling gems down my throat.
Yeah, same.
Vague warning signs about purple. We just don't know what the curse really is.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah, you guys got booned
1,000 gold.
1,000 gold
Oh
with
my
the orcs.
gosh.
Made your way back to Marin's Hold.
We met Mr. Redcap.
You met Mr. Redcap. Oh yeah.
That was a highlight.
Yeah. He finally turned back up as a cat.
And he was
briefly.
running away, going to south.
He had an adventure. You know what? Stay tuned for that because there's a couple things I'm working on the backside of everything.
We get to find out.
There's going to be some immersive storytelling that I'm working on, and I feel like that one should be one of them.
Nice.
Vern's origin story, I'll just spoil alert. It's going to be the first one because I'm already recorded some stuff for it.
Nice.
I just got to sit down and do it. But stay tuned for that.
And the mishaps of Mr. Redcap.
Yeah. Oh, that could just be a never ending thing.
The cautionary tale of Mr.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey, maybe there'll be some Naru stuff in there. Or
Naru
Rodney
and Alora.
and Alora. Oh, man. That would be one to dive into. Yeesh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys are made it to Wardenwood, and we have to wait and see to find out what befalls y'all next.
The unfortunate relationships of Mr.
Jesus Christ.
It's like a whole story, side story, just him as a character going about trying to.
It's like unfortunate series of events.
yeah. God.
Well, I know now what's my next subject of drawing, Mr. Redcap.
Mr.
I'm
Redcap.
gonna try to imagine that.
Yeah.
And whoever comment below, you will get the drawing.
Yeah, come
I
below.
think that would
see.
be it. Yeah. 'Cause we already had one listener. He received the merchant
Do you remember his name?
drawing.
Or shout him out?
Let me see.
You put it edit.
Yes, I have his name.
Put it in an edit. Eh.
You sent the drawing
It's
out?
packed up. I'm gonna mail it
Nice.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Very cool.
From our Reddit subpage, Danger Floop.
Danger
Yeah.
Floop. Shout out
Yeah.
to you, Danger
Yeah.
Floop. We have a Reddit. What?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I created this a
Subreddit.
while back, subreddit, and every time we post page, I post everything there,
Oh, cool.
to keep simultaneously like pictures and
Nice.
stuff. And yeah,
That's
and he
cool.
was the only one who recognized the drawing that it's the merchant guy.
Oh,
Traveler.
The
that's
Traveler,
yeah.
sorry, the Traveler.
God.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
Well, there's that.
The round traveler.
Anyway, that's going to conclude this episode of Off the Table, episode 6, 5, 6.
I think you said 6.
Yeah, I think this is 6.
Yeah.
I'll know in the editing. You'll know already because you'll be watching it. But thank you all for listening. Again, always like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your friends.
Spread
Like,
the word.
subscribe, spread the word, please. And email us at tabletopdiary at gmail.com if you're bored, because whatever. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.